Welcome to Muskegon Rotary. I'm Jason Pisecki. We've got a great program today. We're going to hear from one of our own. Judy Hayner is going to give us an update on the Muskegon Public Art Initiative. We'll start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. We'll have a reflection from Joni Smith. We're going to do two inductions today and a Paul Harris Fellows. This will be chock full of Rotary goodness. And then we'll do the four-way test at the end of the meeting. So let's start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with
liberty and justice for all.
All right, please remain standing while Joni comes up for our reflection.
Before I do the invocation, I'd like to tell you that we can be proud of Muskegon County kids. I had the pleasure of riding the bus yesterday up to Ferris, and 28 gems from all our high schools, and Greg Means from Montague Whitehall, and Shalindra Ellis from Muskegon Heights Academy, and those kids are just amazing. The world is okay. O God, who created all peoples in your image, we thank you for the wonderful diversity of races and cultures in this world. Enrich our lives by ever-widening circles of fellowship, and show us your presence in those who differ most from us, until our knowledge of your love is made perfect in our love for all your children. Amen.
All right, you may be seated. We'll be back in a few minutes for visiting Rotarians and guests. Rotarians and guests, Lisa Stafford, Tim Arter, Annette Jack, and Amy Seymour, if you can make your way up with your guest and introduce them to the club. Rem will give you the mic. You can come hit your mark here so our Zoomers can...
Stand on the red mark.
Good afternoon. I would like to introduce you to John Heiss. He is the Chief Serving Officer for WorkWise.
Okay. Do I know where my marks are? I'm Amy Seymour, and I would like to introduce Kelly DeVos. She is a BSA and Compliance Assistant at Shelby State Bank, and she is interested in becoming a member of the Muskegon Rotary Club.
Hello, I'm Tim Arter. I have as a guest today Kimberly Taylor. She's a partner with Selby Accounting and Tax Services in both Grand Haven and Muskegon. The board just approved her as a new member, so we're going through that particular process, and so I'd like you to welcome her today.
Hello, I'm happy to introduce Erin Schmitz. Erin is the Historic Sites Director at the Lakeshore Museum Center, where she's worked for over 10 years, and she graduated from Johns Hopkins University with a master's in museum studies, and she's passionate about advocating for funding for museums on the state and federal level. Please welcome Erin Schmitz.
Okay, Tim, you should have stayed up here because you're introducing our program. So come on back. While Tim's making his way up here, I just want to say I was talking with John during lunch and just remarking on all the art that we have in our community and how fortunate we are to really have the gift of art in Muskegon. So very excited to hear more about what Judy's going to share today.
Thank you, Jason. As Jason mentioned when he opened up the meeting, we have one of our own today, Judy Hayner, is going to be speaking about art. I'll mention in just a second here. But Judy graduated with a teaching degree from Eastern Michigan University, and then went on and received a master's degree from West Western Michigan University. And for those of you that may not know, she's been a member of Rotary since January 1st of 2000. Judy served as the second director of Every Woman's Place from 1984 to 1989, and then she moved back into adult education with Muskegon Public Schools as the director of their adult programming from 1989 to 1994. And then she was appointed as an assistant superintendent for Muskegon Public Schools and served there from 1994 to 2003. And then came the opportunity of her professional life in Muskegon when she was appointed executive director of your favorite art museum, Muskegon Art Museum, serving in that position for almost 15 years and having the privilege of preceding our own Kirk Hallman. Today we have the good fortune to have her speak on her, what she calls her perfect retirement gig, that is as the project director of the Muskegon City Public Art Initiative, which is a program of the Community Foundation for Muskegon County. So she's going to speak on some of the recent completed projects and things that she has going forward. And she has spoken a couple of times on the similar topic as it's moved through. They have a 10-project process they're in the midst of. But she's going to be giving that update, and I know it's going to be a great program. So Judy, please welcome Judy Hayner.
Hello. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me back. You all are very kind to me. You let me speak a lot. I do want to go on record and tell you to spread the rumor that I'm fine. There were people at the gala that I managed to do everything but faint at. That I'm sure that went around that tent, but I'm fine. And I'm just bummed that I missed such a great celebration of your favorite art museum last Saturday night. All right, so let's talk today about the Muskegon City Public Art Initiative. You have been subject to a couple of conversations about this, but I am happy to talk about it and to catch you up. But before I do that, I want to talk about the fact that, and thank you, Jason, for setting me up on this, the Muskegon community has a remarkable collection of public art. And I have to say that if I were to think back to what one of the goals of our project was, which was to elevate the awareness of that, we didn't articulate that, but it really has happened. It seems like the things that are happening now are making people look around and see all of the art. The total number of significant public works of art in the city of Muskegon is 47. And this earliest work that was in this collection was the Sailors and Soldiers Monument at Hackley Park, which was put in 1892. And the latest installation of public art in Muskegon will be the week of July 18th when we install One Drop at the Van Dyke Mortgage Convention Center. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. But it is a significant collection, and it's everywhere. Look around. Don't go. You can't drive very far in the city of Muskegon without seeing some kind of public art, whether it is an older work or a more recent work. So the inspiration for this project, for the Muskegon City Public Art Initiative, actually came about with this project. When I was, the last year that I was at, well, the last few years at the Art Museum, I was very interested in getting Jason Quigno, who is a Native American artist out of Grand Rapids, who is an incredible artist. I was very motivated to do something that would get his work in Muskegon. We'd had an exhibition of his at the museum, and we had been following his career for years. So I was starting to try to do this, and I didn't get it done before I retired, so I just took it with me and said, all right, we'll figure this out. We'll figure out how to do this. This was actually the inspiration for this whole project, because one of the people I asked if he would support this project was Patrick O'Leary. Patrick O'Leary was the CFO for Sealed Power, SVX, in the late 80s and early 90s. He was in Muskegon for maybe about 5 years. I know several of you here know him. And Patrick got bit by the bug that I always talk about, that if you get bit by it, you are a Muskegonite forever. And although he only lived here 5 years, he got bit by it. And he has been a supporter of all things Muskegon, a big part of the Irish Festival and a lot of other initiatives, and the Art Museum as well. And so I had written to him because I thought, he might like this idea. Anyway, so he did. And he did contribute to it in a way that made me almost fall over, but it was really wonderful. So fast forward 6 months, he calls me up and he says, what are you doing with your time? That is how he started the phone call conversation. But it was this piece that inspired him to think about what else could be done in Muskegon, what else could help spur the development of Muskegon. Remember, you all remember the times we've been through. It's been a pretty interesting 20-year period in Muskegon, and he was well aware of that as well and wanted to do things that might elevate our community even more. So this commission, which is the sculpture All My Relations, is installed at the Visitor Center. There's a backstory to that, which I'm not going to go into today, but it'd be a whole topic, actually. Anyway, this was installed in October of 2018. By the time we installed this, we had then started the Muskegon City Public Art Initiative. And by the way, you were part of helping to make this project happen. You were very generous and supported this particular installation. 18 feet on top of a 3-foot base, black granite hand carved, weighing, I think, around 12,000 pounds. So, Patrick O'Leary, public art is an uplifting part of everyday life. It's free for the public. It inspires people to be proud of their environment. As you think about creating a place where people want to be and want to live, not just work, there is no doubt in my mind that you have to have public art. And so that was his interest. And we set about identifying what we could do or how we could do it. And so what we came up with is that the Muskegon City Public Art Initiative would be a project of the Community Foundation. We would add 10 new, significant, high-quality works of art. Significant means monumental. None of ours are small. They're meant to be larger than life, and they're meant to be permanent. We were also interested, Patrick especially was interested in linking the works of art that we do to the stories and the history of Muskegon. And that we would utilize open and competitive processes to identify the artists. Each work of art that we would pursue and decide to commission would start out with a $25,000 gift from Patrick O'Leary to the effort. We knew right from the beginning that that was only going to be a beginning gift, that each piece would likely cost a little bit more than that, and I'll talk about what we've managed to leverage over the last 4 years. And we would then, look for additional funds and from private and philanthropic and public resources. So the Muskegon City Art Initiative started in July of 2018. The goal was 10 new works. Patrick said, we can do 1 a year. I said, Patrick, I'm 70 years old. I think we'll do 2 a year. It made no sense to me that I would be doing this when I was 80. So art reminds us, I think, of the stories of our community that we have forgotten and maybe never knew, and I hope as people experience the pieces that we've done, they feel that they start to understand maybe a little bit more about their community. Our first project was Mastodons on the Loose. And I had been working with Anushka Solar, professionally over the years, and I was talking with her, and one of her staff members had an idea for this and said, well, I wish we could do that. We'll never be able to do that. And I kind of listened to what the interest was, and I thought, why not? So this became our first project, and you might wonder why. What does this have to do with Muskegon? Well, a couple of things. Mastodons, in fact, were part of the Michigan environment back in the Ice Age and towards the end of that Ice Age. Mastodon bones were found in Rothbury years and years and years ago, and by about 1987, I think, they found their ways to the collection of the Lakeshore Museum Center, some fossilized jawbone, I think, or something. Our Lakeshore Museum person could tell us what that is. And You'll know the answer to this. Do you know what the official fossil is of the state of Michigan? Altogether, it's a mastodon. And it's a mastodon because 7th graders at a middle school in Ann Arbor decided that they thought that should be the case, and they lobbied the state legislature, and sure enough, the mastodon is now our state fossil. This was our first project. You, again, were very instrumental in making us make this happen. Associated with this project are the 20 little tiny mastodons that are installed all over town for people to use to be able to find as part of a scavenger hunt. I know it's been a really successful operation with that, and I think people have had a lot of fun with that. Our second project was, we looked at Heritage Landing. The entrance of Heritage Landing, which had been there since what, somewhere in the 80s, originally was built not to hold bamboo grass, which is what it's had in it for the last 20 years, but to hold a work of art. And so it's like, all right, that seems like a good spot. And so that was our second project, and it's Heritage Landing. We were interested in showcasing the heritage of the people of Muskegon. Who came to Muskegon? Why did they come? And how, how did they make this city what it is? So that was really our inspiration for this. This was installed of June 2020. The artists were Eric Norden and Israel Norden, brothers out of Detroit. And they had responded to an RFP. We did a whole request for proposal, outlined what we were expecting, what we were looking for, outlined the story of how people had come to Muskegon over the century and a half. And this was their particular interpretation of that, and they called it a city built on timber. We actually had 16 to 20 entries for this particular spot, and I'll say something about that in a minute. But this one is the one that really resonated with the Downtown Arts Committee, was a city built on timber. And we installed that in June of 2020. Project number 3, Celebrating Muskegon. So when we did that RFP for the Heritage Landing, we got lots of entries. One of them for that site was this one, and it was our number 2 in, as we made a decision as to what we were going to do for Heritage Landing. This was our number 2 choice for sure. And it was a while later, not too long later, when Frank Peterson looked at me and said, well, why can't we do this anyway? I said, all right, what are you thinking? And he said, then he talked about the roundabout. The roundabout was just being put into design, I think. I don't think, it wasn't built yet. But he showed me the plans. We looked at the site. It wound up being, I think, the perfect place. Things have a way of working out for the best. We got the right sculpture at Heritage Landing, and we certainly got the right sculpture at Pier Marquette Beach. This sculpture was installed in April of 2021. John Littleton and Kate Vogel, again, had responded to that competitive RFP. They're from North Carolina. John Littleton is the son of Harvey Littleton, who is one of the founders of the studio glass movement. So his resume is pretty impressive. We have work in the Muskegon Museum of Art in the permanent collection by Littleton and Vogel. So this was installed in April of 21. It's a 22.5-foot sculpture. If any of you saw any of that installation, which took an entire week, in late April, the highest temperature of which was 50 on the last day. It was a miserable week weather-wise. But this was an amazing math problem. I wish, if you didn't see it installed, it was just stunning what they had to do to create, make, design, engineer, and then install this piece. It was like an erector set coming out of that truck. Uh-oh. All right, project 4. You all are very familiar with this because of our friend Jerry Wiersma. Jerry Wiersma had for at least 2 years before I ever said to him in this room, almost smart alecky, he had been working with this project. And when Patrick and O'Leary and I had talked about it, he said the collaboration between the railroad company that owns the tracks, the railroad people that run the tracks, the trains on them, 3 municipalities, the Michigan Department of Transportation. He said that is unheard of, and he's right. It is. It's insane what we actually pulled off with this. But Jerry gets all of the credit for doing all the hard, heavy lifting of getting all those aforementioned people to say, hey, let's do something about these rusty bridges. By the time I saw Jerry here in this room, he was talking about that, and he had just gotten, I think, everybody to say, all right, we'll do something. And I said, well, we might as well, as long as you're painting these things, why don't we put art up there? So this became project number 4, the Muskegon Rails Project. Quite a fun thing to do. Learned a lot in it. If you're going to do big murals, try to do spray and not brush. It's just a lot faster. Anyway, a very fun project. I'm very proud of what they did. Ed Ehrman was out of Detroit. These are artists that responded to a request for proposal. We had, again, somewhere around 20 artists submit. We went through lots of review and vetting and checking their references, and then we did a public vote. We had examples of these in the libraries for a period of about 5 or 6 weeks. We did an online thing, and so actually the public wound up picking these. Ed Ehrman is out of Detroit. Ashley Nash is a Muskegon kid, grew up in Muskegon, Muskegon High School grad, and her bridge pays tribute to the things in Muskegon, the iconic places and things in Muskegon that speak to her. Ed Ehrman, by the way, was inspired by the Muskegon River. And interestingly, he was going to put a bear in there, and I said, you know, we don't really have bear in Muskegon. I know, right? I need to drop him a line and tell him I was wrong. But we didn't, you know, and it's like, it's not like up north where that would resonate. So I said, nah, I'm not so sure about the bear. So anyway, I do need to let him know that I was wrong about bears. The other 2 were done by Jimmy Cobb, again, a homegrown guy who's finishing up degree work in Milwaukee, is making a name for himself, certainly around Muskegon. He's done quite a few things. And then Dan Parker, also a Muskegon area guy who does wonderful work. He did the Happy, the bridge that we called Happy. So the next project was, again, I don't know, Frank, are you here today? Peterson gets a lot of credit for these ideas because one day, it would have been probably in 2019, I'm on the sidewalk in front of the Walker Arena. I'd have no idea why, and then so was he. And so we literally just kind of ran into each other, started talking. He said, hey, I think we should do something up here. And he pointed to this area of the building. He said, like a mural, maybe a mural, and we can include the industry of Muskegon. We could include something with L.C. Walker. Honestly, you know Frank, stream of consciousness, Frank, but that's what's coming out of Frank. And so I looked at him, I said, well, as a matter of fact, I happen to know exactly the artist that I think could do that. And it was an artist that I had met through my association with the museum, a Detroit area artist, Dr. Hubert Massey. And so that's what started this. This was a photograph I took in the summer of 2019 and went back to the museum or to my friend Art Martin and say, could you show me what a 65-foot by 12-foot thing would look like up on that building? And that's what he did. So we immediately started thinking about how we would do this. Hubert Massey has his methodology is always to start with community and to do community forum type things where there's input. But I started by trying to find the partners that could work with us, and I have to be very grateful and thank the City of Muskegon, who have, on all of my projects, have been amazing. Your city staff is as good as they come. The Muskegon Heritage Museum, Kirk Bunke was brand new in his position. It's like, hey, Kirk, you don't know me, but let me tell you about this. And so he was part of the project. The James Jackson Museum of African American History, William Muhammad, he was agreeing to help me. And then YEP, which is a program of Community and Compass, a program that works with the high school kids, the youth. And so those were our partners, and we started about to figure out what defines us. And these were the questions that we were concerned with, that we were thinking about, that Hubert wanted to hear about. Is it the diverse community of Muskegon? By the way, we are the most diverse city on the shores of Lake Michigan, from New Buffalo to the bridge, hands down. No other city has the mix of people that we have in it. Is it our natural resources? We can argue that nobody has quite what we have here with our natural resources. Is it our industrial heritage that defines us? And over the last 150 years, what has attracted you? all of us, the people that are here that are making this community what it is. That was the question with that Hubert wanted to hear response to. We conducted, and so now I met with Hubert for the first time in the fall of 2019, and this started in later 2020 when we hosted community forums. We had 4 community forums, and how did we do them? By Zoom, because now we are eyeball deep into the pandemic, and so all of these were done by Zoom. We did 2 community forums with the YEP kids, and then we did 3 other community-based forums with whoever won. We just invited the public, and my partners helped recruit some people to them. So we had 4 of those forums all together, and then we had multiple feedback sessions with those groups and with my Downtown Arts Committee and the artists to just continue to think through those answers and what we wanted to do. That all took about 12 months. And last 3 weeks ago, time is just flying by, it's completely finished. This was installed in December of 2021. As you probably know, there was a little bit of controversy about it, so it took some rethinking and listening again to community input, which Dr. Massey did beautifully, and coming up with another alternative, and it was finished up again 2 or 3 weeks ago. And so this is the mural that is on the facade of the Walker Arena, of the Mercy Health Arena. What's it called now? I've lost track. And I hope that you spent some time. We have on the signage for the mural, there is a complete legend, so it points out what everything is on this. What I'm amazed at when I really look at this and spend time with it, Hubert Massey had never been to Muskegon before. What he was able to absorb from those community forums and a few trips here, he and I did lots of tours of Muskegon, really, really is remarkable, I think. And I'm very proud of this mural. I think it's gorgeous, and I think it will absolutely stand the test of time. You see Muskegon from the early lumbering periods all the way to that beautiful environment that we're enjoying today, coming off of Sherman and around those bends to see that lake. It's all there. The kayaks, the airplane, the cruise ship, it's all there. Muskegon Lake, Bear Lake. So spend a little time really thinking about what's in that mural, and I think you'll be surprised. Jason, you can't cut me off so fast. Okay, are you going to cut me off?
No, I'm not going to cut you off. This is just your signal. This
Okay, I
is
just have to
a
talk
wrap
fast.
it up.
All right, sorry.
Bring the train into the station.
Okay, so the 6th project is happening almost any minute now. All of these projects take longer than one. Here's my weak spot. I'm really bad at estimating the time frames, obviously. This one is going to be installed the week of July 18th. I can hardly wait. It is a sculpture in honor of the 70th anniversary of the Women's Division, and we are all thrilled. Up to and mostly including the artist, who I'm sure is ready to be done with me. But the week of July 18th, you'll hear more about it. So this is what we've done so far. And when I think about people that use the word leverage, you can leverage money. And I remember thinking, I really don't, what does that mean? Okay, this is what this means. Patrick O'Leary has given $25,000 a piece for each of these pieces to get them started, the 6 that we've done. Out of that $150,000, we have raised $923,045 so far. And we have 4 projects left to go. Most of this money is local. It's philanthropic. It's you. It's the Rotary Club. It's people in Muskegon supporting it. 14% is coming from the state of Michigan art funds. I've applied for a few of these projects. I've applied for art funds. Also, we've done Patronicity, which is a MEDC initiative. We've done that twice for 2 of our projects. And then 4% from our city and county funds. All right, we have 4 more projects to go. We have 1 for Muskegon Heights, 2 for the city, and 1 for the Muskegon Museum of Art. And what we're thinking about, and not thinking about, I'm starting the planning on the Muskegon Heights thing, and I'll tell you that in a minute. We are working on possibly being able to commission a local Muskegon artist who is experienced with monumentally scaled sculptures. We only have 1 that seriously, that is capable of what that takes. It takes a lot. And then we are looking at possibly doing something on the west side, and it might involve an elephant, a boy named Buster, and a catcher's mitt. And then we are doing a project to celebrate the expansion of the museum. This is the Heights Project. The Muskegon Heights Project will be a 12-foot bronze sculpture paying tribute to the heritage of the Muskegon Heights Marching Band by illustrating the drum major in full uniform with color. The artist I'm working with is Ari Norris, who is the son of Tim Norris and Patty Opal, Muskegon born and bred. He is a significant and known bronze sculptor. He did the Bugle, Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy sculpture, and he is right now running a art foundry in Illinois. He will be working with me on this. I'm working on his contract now in the next week. This will highlight the story of that band, which meant everything to that community. And it has suffered from the transitions that have been going on in that town for the last 10 years, and the music department has been challenging, but part of what gets tributed here is Robert Moore, who was a band instructor at the Muskegon Heights Public Schools for 40 years, just left in 2011. So this will be at Rowan Park and right on Broadway, and we're very excited about it. And you have already made a commitment to it, so thank you very much. I said we're working with the artists about the possibility of this large-scale sculpture in Muskegon. We have the one for the Art Museum. And then, in case you haven't seen it, the sculpture for the Art Museum, this is as you're looking from Clay Street towards the museum, and the sculpture would be right at that end of the plaza near Clay. And we have an idea for it that would be spectacular, but don't know yet if we can pull it off. And then number 10, it's still a mystery. It could be Buster Minnie. Minnie is the elephant that lived in Bluffton during the day, back in the day. So we might be doing something with that. I hope we are. That's going to depend on the progress at the docks. The American Public Works Association has explored the idea of doing something, and we may partner with them. And then the Leonard Building area, there's also an idea for that, but we don't know because of what's happening with the first two. So, all right. Thank you very much for the ways you've supported this project. I really appreciate that, your generosity and your ability to see that things like art matter as much as some of the other initiatives that we are behind, and I really appreciate that. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Judy. We are very appreciative that you're a horrible retired person. We got time for a couple of questions. Susan?
Judy, thank you for your efforts. It's amazing. We are a blessed community because of you. What is the material for the new project going in front of the convention center?
That is made, the base of that project will be, hold on a second. Can I put that back up there, Mike? So the base of that is stainless steel that is blue, and then the outer shell of it is prismatic steel. It is a brilliant blue color, and it'll have quite a sheen to it, and the lighting will be from within. The sculpture will be lit from within. 27 feet is the height of that. And the foundation you've probably seen, if you've been there at all, the foundation's been in for quite a while, and the landscaping's there, so yeah.
All right, any other questions or comments? Oh, we're gonna let Judy off the hook then. Thank you once again.
Thank you for your support.
And you want to talk about how things work in Muskegon and Frank Peterson. When the Celebrating Muskegon was installed down at Pier Marquette, I think some of you know I walked down by Pier Marquette a lot, and there was a bunch of directional signs to show us Muskegonites how to use the roundabout, which direction to go. And they were blocking the sculpture, and I took a picture and I sent it to Frank. I said, Frank, what do you think? I think these got to go. And they were gone the next day. So just how things work around here. And Judy, for presenting today, our club will make a donation to community economic development on your behalf. And once again, one more round of applause for Judy Hayner. All right, we're on to birthdays, and I think all three of the birthday people are here, so we get to sing today. Dr. Mergen on the 16th, Annette Jack on the 22nd, and Joni Smith on the 22nd. If you're here and you have your $10 for the Caring Connection, you can bring it up to Kim, and we'll sing happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to
you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
All right, happy birthday, everyone. Okay, our member spotlight. This is a feature we've been doing this Rotary year to highlight our vocational avenue of service. And today we're going to hear from Lisa Hagenbart.
I am Lisa Hegenbart, and I joined Rotary in 2016 when I became the executive director for Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Lakeshore. I grew up in Fremont, Michigan. I met my husband, and we have been together about 29 years now. We have 2 grown daughters, one that is newly married. I also have a stepson and a stepdaughter and 3 grandchildren. I personally enjoy traveling, especially locations that include the ocean, and recently got back into running and was able to run my first 2 Disney races this year, and recently also went skydiving for the first time and looking forward to booking my next trip. Currently, I am the executive director for Girls on the Run West Michigan, and we provide programs to 3rd through 8th graders in the Muskegon, Kent, and recently Ottawa counties. And this year, our goal is to serve over 2,000 girls to really help them become emotionally, mentally, and physically healthy. Well, when I joined Rotary, I was very quickly approached by Bill Johansson and got involved with the RIM. I enjoy writing, and it really provided me a great opportunity to meet a lot of the members of Rotary, as well as speakers and community members. I also got involved with the Grape Escape, managing all of the food vendors, and again, really provided me the opportunity to use that passion of mine to meet new people, build relationships, and really get engaged in the community. Working with members of Rotary to really impact our community continues to hit my heart and passion for really the change that we can make across our community.
All right, thanks a lot, Lisa. Great. Nancy Crandall has a special presentation. Nancy?
Thanks, Jason. It is my pleasure today to present a Paul Harris Award. In 1957, Rotary International established the Paul Harris Fellow Award to honor Paul Harris, one of the 3 founders of Rotary. Rotary created this eponymous award to express appreciation for the financial support of the humanitarian and educational programs of the Rotary Foundation. This award is one of Rotary's most prestigious honors. Paul Harris once said, "Dreaming is not so bad if one dreams good dreams and makes them come true." Rotarians make dreams a reality through Rotary Foundation programs that provide educational opportunities, food, potable water, sanitation, healthcare, immunizations, and shelter for millions of persons here at home and around the world. Today, we honor a deserving individual who also dreamed good dreams and made them come true. To help with the presentation, I invite Jay Wallace Jr. to come forward and tell us about our honoree, whose name will join the worldwide ranks of Paul Harris Fellow, honored from 1957 until today.
Thank you, Nancy. This is one of the most fun things you can do in Rotary. I'm telling you, I'm so excited today. It is my honor and privilege to announce the next inductee to our Paul Harris Fellowship. This person graduated from Fruitport Community Schools in 1998, where he lettered in baseball and football. And despite him being on the team, the football team still achieved the academic All-State. He was a 2002 graduate of Hope College, go Hope, where he made the varsity baseball team, was a member of the Arcadian fraternity, and participated in Hope's internship program in Philadelphia. Upon graduation, local visionaries Rich Kramer and Bruce Potter hired him to the commercial lines team at Shoreline Insurance. He has since been named a partner at Shoreline Insurance and leads the commercial lines team, contributing greatly to the agency's operation and success. As a young whippersnapper, he was recognized by our local Future 15 and 40 Under 40. The list of ways he has served our community is long and continues to grow. He's been a JC. He's served on the Builders Association, the board of the Block, the board of the Michigan Irish Music Festival, where he created the Whiskey Snug. He's been the president of Parties in the Park. He's on the North Muskegon Youth Baseball League board. He is an ambassador for the current Art Museum Capital campaign. He's coached his boys in baseball and flag football for the last 7 years. And he even finds time to be an active and consistent blood donor. Perhaps his greatest achievement was convincing Amy Kingsley to say yes. And in January 2007, he married way, way up. Amy is here today with their 3 sons. Owen is 12. Keaton is 9. Merritt is 6. You will undoubtedly see and hear more about Owen, Keaton, and Merritt, as they are sure to be academic and athletic standouts at North Muskegon schools for years to come. If you're driving down Ruddiman, you'll likely see the brothers out in the yard playing football, baseball, hockey, basketball. If you're lucky, you may even catch a glimpse of our inductee mowing his lawn. I say lucky because he's the only person I know that, despite his yard being 0.6 of an acre, has a John Deere 10 Series tractor with a 60-inch mowing deck. So it takes him like 3 passes to mow his yard. How's that saying go? You could take the boy out of Fruitport, but... I am fortunate to have known him for almost 25 years, and I'm proud to introduce to you one of my very best friends, your new Paul Harris Fellow, Joshua Silvas.
Today, my fellow Rotarians, we move closer to a more peaceful world as Josh Silvas becomes a Paul Harris Fellow. Josh, you are being recognized today as a Paul Harris Fellow, and a special appreciation for how your life exemplifies the humanitarian and educational objectives of the Rotary Foundation. You were designated to receive this recommendation by the Muskegon Rotary Club. On behalf of the Foundation Board of Trustees, you receive 3 emblems of a Paul Harris Fellow: a certificate, a lapel pin, and a medallion. The certificate states that you have been named a Paul Harris Fellow in appreciation of tangible and significant assistance given for the furtherance of better understanding and friendly relations between peoples of the world. We encourage you to wear your pin to all Rotary events to support the foundation and its programs that save and invigorate people's lives worldwide. Please accept our congratulations and sincere appreciation for your commitment to our shared goals of world understanding and peace. Rotarians and friends, please congratulate and recognize the newest Paul Harris Fellow in the world, Josh Silvas.
Wow. Thank you so much. It means a ton to have someone as close to me and as much as someone I respect as much as you give that. Thank you. I'm going to keep it super brief. This club and this community make you want to get involved. I don't understand people that don't. So this is just what I feel like you should do. I appreciate the recognition, but there's a million people in this room and in this community just as deserving. So thank you very much.
That has to be one of the best Paul Harris intros ever, Jay. And best speeches, Josh. Thank you. Okay, the Rotary Fun is not done. We have 2 inductions. If Contessa Hood and Chris Colley can come up with their inductees, you guys will have the stage here. See which one gets here first. You're walking really slow, Tessa. You can take the mic and stand off to the side.
Stand on your red spots there. Who's doing the induction?
All right.
Okay, good.
Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. My name is Contessa Hood, and I have the pleasure of introducing you to our new inductee this afternoon. 2 words that come to mind when I think about Kelsey is leader and genuine. Kelsey has recently taken over the position previously held by Pam Port as the new PTAC director for Muskegon Area First. She has already significantly increased the presence of PTAC in the Muskegon area, and her, along with her amazing team, have surpassed their goal of reaching new clients over 200% this year alone. When coming into the chamber office, you will know right away who Kelsey is due to her big, warm smile and genuine kindness. Now let's learn a little bit more about Kelsey. Kelsey Rhoda is the Program Director for Greater Muskegon Economic Development PTAC program. Kelsey has been with PTAC since October 2019 and is originally from Holland, Michigan, and graduated from Davenport University with a bachelor's in healthcare administration. However, Kelsey currently resides in Muskegon, and she has 2 beloved but demanding dogs who she can be seen walking daily in the Lakeside neighborhood. Kelsey spends her time off by enjoying anything outdoors, and especially loves the summer season in Muskegon of boating and dining a la Frisco. I would like to also close out by including one of Kelsey's favorite quotes: "No one can give you what you want but yourself." So please help me in welcoming Kelsey Rhoda.
Step over to the side.
It is my pleasure to introduce my friend, Michael Ramsey, a California native who has been a resident of West Michigan for the last 20 years and a City of Muskegon neighbor for the last 15. During that time, he has worked for Trinity Health as an HIV educator and medical case manager, Community Health Innovation Region Director, and currently as a program design, implementation, and monitoring coordinator for local efforts supporting the social influencers of health, including the Community Health Needs Assessment and the Community Health Improvement Endeavors. Michael lives in the Nelson neighborhood and was elected as the City Commission in 2019 as the Ward 3 Commissioner and currently serves as the Commission Liaison for the Housing Board of Appeals and leads the Community Relations Committee. Welcome to Michael.
All right, now you gotta squeeze in a little. All right, everyone squeeze in. Here we go. Squeeze. Fellow Rotarians and honored guests, the Rotary Club of Muskegon is privileged to induct 2 new members. We encourage you to learn about Rotary by actively participating in the club, including attending meetings, social events, and service projects. It's my pleasure to have your sponsors give you this pin by which your fellow Rotarians and the community will recognize you as a member. We ask you to wear it proudly. I would also like to issue a challenge to share the gift that has been given to you and invite another person with like qualities of character, reputation, and commitment to join our club in the next 3 months. The honor of becoming a Rotarian is only surpassed by sponsoring new members. Do you accept this challenge? 2 hearty nods. Okay, thank you. Everyone, please rise and welcome the 2 newest Rotarians in the world, Kelsey Rhoda and Michael Ramsey. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Okay, committee reports and announcements. Tim Lightpan has an announcement. So does Don Hutchins. While you're making your way up here, I'm just going to give a couple announcements. Rewind is going to meet tonight at Susan Crane's house. If you don't know where it is, it's right there. So just go right over there, and I'm confident there will be great refreshments and fellowship today. That's at 5:15 p.m. Also a reminder that our club is planting a tree in honor of Orville after our Rotary meeting next week at Rotary Park. John Noling is heading that up. So if you have any questions, see him. Also, there's an opportunity to meet the incoming Rotary president, Jane Klingman Scott. It'll be a happy hour for Red Star members Wednesday, June 22nd from 5 to 6 at Reed, Muskegon. And Kim on me to remind you all that if you haven't paid your dues, please do so. Don, and I think Tim skated out, so it's all you.
No worries. I'll take this time, right, Mike? Mike Vogus taught us about brevity in these announcements, so we're going to keep it short. I have 3 sections to it. One, data. I'm representing the Seaway Run Committee, and we're having a great fundraiser, but we're low on volunteers. Somewhere in the neighborhood of only 20 have officially signed up. So thank you for those that have signed up. Thank you for everybody that's participated, but we do need your help. 2, the facts are, is that if we don't do this, this is our largest fundraiser of the year. So we need your help. I've been in fundraising and community events for over 4 decades. And sometimes they're fundraisers and sometimes they're friend raisers. This one's both. So please participate. And the last section is communication. I was taught years ago respectfully that if you're not expecting good communication, you don't do the following things correctly. 1, communicate the need. 2, communicate the need again. And 3, have the group report back to you and tell you what the communication was. So this is audience participation. Please repeat after me. Seaway Run. Seaway Run. Seaway Run. Seaway Run. Thank you.
That was very well done. Very well done. You can do all announcements going forward for everything. Okay, raffle. I think, does our new Paul Harris Fellow have the raffle today, I believe? What are we doing first, Josh? $20. 363 for $20. In the back, I cannot see that far. It looks like, Mary Beth Ramos. Hmm. 365. Doug, major winner. $442. Jeff Lewis. All right, that brings us to the conclusion of our meeting today. I want to thank John, Kimberly, Aaron, and Kelly for visiting today. We hope you come back again. Want to welcome Kelsey and Michael to the club and congratulate Josh on his Paul Harris Fellow. Next week, We're going to hear from a former Rotarian and a current Rotarian. DJ Hilson and Chris Bernard are going to give an update on the Safe Seniors Collaborative. That'll be next week right back here. If everyone can please rise, we'll recite the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, and do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendship? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? All right. Enjoy this beautiful Muskegon day.